most clutch players, MIP, most improved player. What was you about to add?
I gotta
Kobe
stop. I
White.
gotta stop this.
Kobe White. It's got
I
to be
gotta
Kobe
stop
Yeah, I
White.
this
got
for
Kobe
one
White.
second.
I
This
know
has
where
to
he about to
stop.
go. I agree with you about Kobe for MP, but I know where he about to go.
Because I keep
This has
hearing
to
about Maxi. I
stop.
keep hearing Maxi for the
This has to
award.
stop for one. This has to stop for 1 second. I promise you, it's worth it stopping for 1 second.
All right, go.
The
He not talking
Kentucky
about
Wildcats.
MIP.
The Kentucky Wildcats just hired Mark Pope from BYU to replace John Calipari. That's what the Kentucky Wildcats just did. Mark Pope from BYU, coach a bunch of Mormons, to now go into Kentucky to coach
Wait,
and fill in Coach Cal's big ass footsteps, shoes. That's what you're gonna do. You're gonna hire him. I'm sorry. It just threw me off. I can't. That's ridiculous.
okay. I mean,
It's ridiculous. You literally took your fifth option because no one else wanted the job. You try to get Baylor's coach. No. Dan Hurley said, hell no, I ain't leaving here. My wife's not gonna let me leave here, understandably. Like, you couldn't get anybody else. And you let that guy go without a surefire plan, without you didn't know you were gonna bring in a great coach afterwards, and you brought in Mark Pope. It makes my head hurt. It makes my head, and I blame the AD and I blame the boosters at Kentucky. I really do blame them. I think it is their fault. You could have done this in a year. You could have done this in 2 years. You could have done this when you knew that there was a coach that you were targeting that was willing to, step in and that you could hire for the job. It is incredibly frustrating to see that's the hire. I hate it. I hate it. By the way, Kentucky fans are giving this all over the place. Are giving this hire an F on Twitter. Twitter's on fire.
I mean,
Twitter's
sure,
on fire.
sure. I mean, you can honestly say that, but I mean, this guy's built a solid program at BYU. They've made the tournament. I mean, sure, he's not going to be what Coach Cal was. You're not going to find those guys because they usually are at schools for 20 years. But like they had to make a change. And I mean, you're bringing in new blood. We're going to have some ups and downs at first, but it's still Kentucky. I still think we're going to get guys. I still think that they can be able to recruit. I mean, you got donors, you got backers for the head coach here. So, I mean, sure, I wasn't ready to talk about this just yet. Thanks for springing this on me now. I mean, I didn't get a chance to look at any of this, so I appreciate you for that. But I don't know. I've seen BYU over the past few years, and since he's been there, they've had a winning culture, winning program. I mean, he turned Utah Valley into a winner. I'm just looking through some of his resume. I mean, that's the thing. Like I said, you're not going to be able to get unless those guys really want to step up to the challenge. I know I heard Bruce Pearl was an option, but he's not going to leave Auburn because they're a solidified top 20 program in the country right now. Same with Scott Drew. Why leave that program for an unknown with how things are run over here? So, um, with that being said, you got to go for a younger guy who could be hungry and needs an opportunity. I mean, who's to say that they can't be successful with this guy? Same with the Alabama coach that they brought in football. Who's to say that they can't be successful moving on from Saban in a new era? So, I mean, sure. Looking at it on the surface right now, and you lose Coach Cal and everything that he represented as far as bringing in revenue, bringing in NBA players to help you with your recruiting process and all that. I mean, his big thing was he was tired of going on the road and recruiting, and he wanted the NIL money to be backed for him to be able to give it to guys. But like, something had to give. I know that's what we're gonna go with at some point. I mean, you look like you're ready to talk, or you got a cramp. I don't know.
No, this is the dumbest shit. I'm sorry. Hold on. They wanted to get rid of Calipari because he didn't win enough championships in Kentucky. It did not translate to enough championships. That was a standard. Am I right? I think I'm right about that. That was about the standard. That's what you told me. And then they went and hired some guy who has not done anything.
So wait.
Compared, he can't even compare his resume to Calipari, and you went and hired him instead. That's what
Yeah,
we're doing. That's what we're doing.
So what? How are we going to bring in a championship coach? How are we going to? So you're expecting us to go from Calipari to what, Roy
But
Williams to
you
Dean
already
Smith?
had a
What are we
championship
doing?
coach,
Like,
so why fire the championship coach to bring in an unknown? Why would you do that? That is so stupid. And also, you're completely overrating the Kentucky brand. The Kentucky brand was Calipari. Calipari turned it into an NBA factory. That's what he did. That was his work. He built that brick by brick. He built the foundation that made that place an NBA factory where guys went from there. And it wasn't just sending guys to the NBA. It was sending guys to the NBA who were going to have immediate success. The All Stars, Tyler Hero, De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk, who's hanging around the league getting second and third contracts. There's a Carl Anthony Towns, DeMarcus Cousins, who was an All World player before he got hurt. I can go down a list forever. That's Coach John Wall. That's Coach Cal's legacy, is that he sent guys to the NBA, and he didn't just send them there. He went there. They went there and they were prepared for NBA life, and they had success. Not just that, but he also won. Anthony Davis, they went down. They won. They won games. Devin Booker, they went down there and they won games. He won 810 games. I know over the course of his career, he's got about 400 of them with Kentucky, 400 wins. All they've done is win consistently and been at the least, they're a threat. At the least, they're a threat. Now, how you feel going from that to knowing now you're irrelevant? You are irrelevant because the guys. Let me tell you something. You mentioned backing, NIL backing. Every team in college basketball has NIL backing now. Everyone has money. Everyone has money. It is a literally open game. Anyone can go get paid. Every school has rich donors. I'm sorry. At a Power 5 school, they have rich donors that can donate. So they're gonna be throwing money at these kids everywhere anyway. So is Kentucky like gonna get preferential treatment? Not without Cal being there. Hey, you didn't think it mattered that Cal was friends with Drake? That he was cool with the kids? That he was cool in pop culture? That Drake mentioned Kentucky in a rap song? That didn't matter to Robert Dillingham when he went over there? You don't think it mattered? It did. You're gonna find out though. You F around and find out. You're gonna find out firing that guy to bring in Mark Pope is the most idiotic thing I've ever seen. It is stupid as it is dumb as hell. It is dumb as hell. And look, he didn't get fired technically. Okay, we would be Captain Literal Man. He got pushed out. We know that's what happened. Cal did not want to leave Kentucky to go to Arkansas. Be for real. Like all my black sisters say, be for real. Like they say. Like, come on. That's what they say. Like, for real. Like, it's crazy. Mark Pope? That's who you hired? Irrelevant.
are you done with your rant?
Irrelevant. But it's real. But you tell me if I'm wrong. Is there anything I'm saying that's wrong? Chris, am I wrong?
No,
am I wrong?
You're not wrong. Kentucky's behind the 8 ball when it comes to NIL. You have a point about them pushing him out, right? He took a pay cut to go to Arkansas, but best believe he's going to build a roster that is going to look pretty damn good because all those players that are at Kentucky, two players that from OTE actually were committed to go to Kentucky, Sompto and Carter Knox. They decommitted. People are going to leave to go play with Calipari, whether they go to Arkansas. The players that have decommitted, whether they go to Arkansas or not, but he's going to be able to build a roster. And I think
to go to the league, though. To go to the league, I hear you. I hear what you're saying.
No, he's gonna Miles. Don't do that. Miles, don't make yourself feel better. He's gonna change his approach.
He's gonna
dig in.
You haven't won a chip in 12 years.
Yeah,
the NIL and transfer portal thing is the NIL thing and transfer portal thing is relatively new to college basketball. Let's come on. Let's be smart. He's going to change his approach. He would have changed if he was at Kentucky. He has to change his approach if he's going to survive in this landscape. It is not just about sending kids to the league anymore because you don't have them long enough. So you're not even get the 2-year guys. It's just impossible. And now it's more skewed to guys who have transfers having success because you'd rather recruit the transfer than recruit high school kids. I know that high school seniors are not getting recruited at the same clip because the transfer portal is busting right now. You can get a junior or a senior who's been through the college rigors, has been through college courses, who's been through college weight training and conditioning. You're going to get that kid first. They get preferential treatment. You don't think that Kyle sees that and Kyle's going to go, I'm Coach Kyle. I can probably get a transfer to come here from a really good school. Probably wouldn't have the same role he would have with me. I can sell him on a role here at Kentucky or Arkansas now. That's
But
what's
it's
going to
not like the
happen.
transfer portal just
But
happened this year. It's been going on for the last few years.
Exactly.
few years.
Right.
Right. But
Few
what
years.
was his hold up
We won
in
one
catching up?
tournament game in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hasn't been that long. It hasn't been that long.
Isn't that
That's what
long?
I'm saying.
Other coaches
Well,
have
we
adjusted more quickly than Cal has.
Other coaches didn't have Kyle's recruiting stuff and recruiting method. I mean, here, recruiting. What's the word? Recruiting ideology from the beginning. He's different in that sense that his plan was he started the one and done stuff, bro. Like it was him. He revolutionized college basketball. He was like, yo, you want to come? You want it? Here it is. I'm gonna sell you guys top recruits in the country. You're a 5-star, right? You want to play ball somewhere? I'm gonna get you to the league the fastest. That's what we're gonna do.
He's not
That's my
selling
plan.
you on winning a championship. He's selling you on
He
getting
did.
to the league.
Yeah, he
He's
did.
selling
He
you
did
on
both. Yeah, we're competitive,
using-
multiple Elite Eights, a
using
national
you to get
championship,
to the next level.
810 wins. Don't do that. Like, don't do because like you
How
don't
many,
want
hold
because
on. How many national
it irritates
championships?
me. It bothers me because people on the outside who talk about coaches do not know how hard it is to coach, especially in this generation of kids. It pisses me off, bro. It is hard, and these kids have never been weaker mentally. Kids are weak mentally. They quit. Kids play on 7 AAU teams because if they go to their first practice, they don't like the coach. The coach yells at them, and they coach them too hard. They leave. And in this environment, you want someone to sustain success. It's possible because Dan Hurley's doing it, but it is not the norm. It is not the norm, and it takes time to adjust to these kids because these kids are different. They are not the same that they were even when Cal started there. It's different. They're not like you, Miles. They're not like it. They're not like Tone. They're not like Chris. These kids are different. They are quitters, and the parenting has never been worse. The parenting has never been worse. The parents blame everybody but their kid. They blame everybody. It was everybody else's fault. John can't make a three. John can't make a three, or a shot, but it's everybody else's fault. But it's not John's fault though. Like that's the reality we're living in now. So I just feel like people need to be very careful about dropping the hammer on a guy like Cal. Be careful.
You can say it's not his fault, but you can also say he had a part in it because
He had a part in it. I'm not saying it's not all his. Yeah.
Because look, if you're looking at it like Jay Wright, he had the blueprint way back when. Those veterans at Villanova, a small school in Pennsylvania, winning 2 national championships in 4 years. Okay,
totally agree.
Kansas does the same thing with Bill Self, and then Scott Drew won at Baylor a few years ago with not freshmen, with upperclassmen. So it's like Cal has stuck to his guns with his one and done, and yeah, that worked with Anthony Davis because you got a generational talent. But how many times do you get a generational talent as a freshman that can lead your team to a national championship? He was National Player of the Year. He was Defensive Player of the Year. There was no way that they were going to lose that year. And it almost worked with Cat, almost worked with Devin Booker that year, but they lost to, I said it, it was a team that had veteran players of Frank Kaminsky and Sam Decker on that team. So it's not like you can say that Cal, he's a winner. Sure, he's won plenty of games. One national championship to go for it with a generational talent in Anthony Davis. And
was that
12 years ago?
What do you consider to be a success year to year? That's if the national championship is if you I know he was there for a long time and won one national championship, but an Elite Eight run, you get rings for that in college, bro. They give you rings when you get an Elite Eight run. When you get Sweet 16s, they give you a ring. Like they get rings, bro. Like I'm telling you, it's a successful season to get that far in the tournament, and he's done it multiple times.
Bro. At the end of the day,
yes, it does. Yes,
you're
it
not selling
does.
kids on making it to the Elite Eight when you recruit them.
The kids don't, Chris. Those kids he recruits do not give a flying you know what about winning a national championship. Not
then
really.
There's a bigger problem with college basketball then.
But this is what I'm trying to tell you, bro. They're just trying to get to the fast money. A lot of them are. Cooper Flag isn't going to Duke to play to win a national championship. If he wins it, great. It's icing.
I agree with
He's
you.
getting to the bread, bro. He's getting to the bread. He's going to number 1 in the draft. That's what he's doing, bro. That's what he's doing. Like, Bronny didn't go to USC to win a national championship. He didn't prioritize that, did he? He just wanted to stay near the crib. Let me go here, fine tune my skills, go to the NBA. That's what it was. Bro, they're just trying to get to the fast money. I'm telling you, when you coach at Kentucky or you play for Cal, I should say, because the Kentucky brand was Cal. It's not the other way around. When you play for Cal, that's the expectation. I do think that changes now, though. I think it changes now because of the fact that with the transfer portal, the NIL money, it's just harder to sell people on that. And you're not going to win with a young team anymore because there aren't as many young teams to play against. All these teams are older and more mature, so you have to, be coached up, play the right way. You need kids that understand defensive schemes, terminologies. You need kids that are just more seasoned. So it's different now, and I understand the frustration of a Kentucky fan like Miles. I get that. I'm not saying that he had no merit in getting let go, or that he should have stayed there forever. I'm not saying that. But if you're going to let him go, if you're going to let Coach Calipari go, who is a basketball Hall of Famer, surefire, please replace him with someone who at least is comparable. You don't got to be a Hall of Famer. But what the hell? Yo, the coach from BYU, for real, not the San Diego State guy who's been pumping out contenders every year. Now, mind you, here's this. You're going to have to pay me. You're going to have to pay me in gold to move from San Diego to Kentucky. Yeah, you want to pay me in gold. I want it up front. But at the end of the day, you got to go after those kind of guys. Take it longer with the search. So no one wanted the job. Why? Because they didn't want to deal with the boosters and these unrealistic expectations. That's why. How many? I don't get it. Like it's not the norm to be Jay Wright or to be Dan Hurley. It's not the norm. Coach K, it's not the norm. Please get that out of your head. It's not the norm, especially in this ecosystem with players, young guys, young people that we're dealing with now. It is not the norm. You're not going to see that sustained success. We're just not. Look at Villanova now. Look at them now. They're going to get Neptune black ass up out of there as fast as possible. Come on, be for real. That's all I'm saying, bro. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'd love to hear Tone's thoughts on this. Tone, have you been here the entire time?
Yeah.
I'd love to hear your thoughts, though. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
I was giving y'all the floor because I came back to my phone. Let me put my phone down for like 2 seconds. Went to go feed Omari. I came back and I said 63 messages. I said, oh, yeah, this wasn't on the docket, but it's going to be on the docket today.
Oh, people blow up your line about this, the hire.
Hey, how I feel about it, I think that's a terrible hire. But it's a tough situation. Same thing like with the Patriots. You following Bill Belichick, that's going to be hard. You following Coach Cal, that's hard. I don't see why they couldn't wait a little bit. People change their mind. Things happen late in the summer, and this happened. I think they should have waited to try to get a better prospect because I don't think with this hire, I think they'll probably they win 18, 19 games next year. They'll make the 20, but it won't. That Kentucky allure that was there for the last 8, 9 years, however long Cal was there, is gone now.
Gone.
It is completely gone. It's out the door with Cal.
Yeah. All those championships are gone too now. Yeah, that we won over the last 8, 9 years. So
every team at the Yankees, Miles. Every team at the Yankees. Every team you root for ain't gonna be the Yankees. You root for the Jets. You root for the Jets too. Like it's hard to it's hard to win. You experienced that. Hey, come on. I'm just saying, bro. Like to win one national to see one national championship, to see one major championship in your team in your lifetime, you are a blessed man. Ask Chris. He root for the damn Bengals. How many have you seen? It is a blessing to see one. Be grateful.
Hey,
be grateful.
He really just caught a stray, but
Yeah,
that's a good point. That's a good point because in this regard, because you flip it, it's a lot of Lakers fans that's not happy
grateful
with LeBron's tenure of one ring, which to get one in this era of sports in general, some of the most gifted, athletically strong, talented individuals that have ever walked the face of the earth, to be able to get a ring, yeah, that's one of the most difficult things to do. And to think about repeating or back to back and all that stuff, that's rarefied air. So like even UConn repeating this year, shout out to UConn, shout out to Hurley. It's completely different, ideology and how he has everything running over in UConn than that Coach Cal was doing, which factored in him not getting the rings. But it's a layered conversation because reality, if they had this in football, it would be the same thing with the one and dones. Football players, they don't have the choice to do that. In the basketball space, it's about the bread. I want to get to the bread as soon as possible, and you're viewed as a failure if you got to come back a second season.
Facts.
That's literally how it operates. So
It's not an opinion. It's not an opinion. That's a fact. If they come back for year 3, and also think about it too the other way from the NBA's perspective, from scouts' perspective, if you see a third-year guy like CJ McCollum come out the draft, they're going late. They're not a lottery pick. How many third-year guys do they don't like that. They look at it as a knock on you, like why you're not here earlier or you're too old. We only have like by the end of your first contract, you're 27. If you came out at 24, you're already almost out of your athletic prime.
But not
So why
everybody's
would
ready to go because not everybody's ready to leave. Like Bronny's not ready to
but
leave.
but the caliber, this is not don't change it though.
No, I'm
Don't
not
change it
changing
though.
it, but you're the one who
The,
brought it up.
the caliber of player that John Calipari recruits, and he gets to go to Kentucky, is that of a guy who is looking to go after 1 year. That is
Yeah.
just the way it's always been. So this conversation is framed for Kentucky, not for no one else, not for UNC, not for Duke, and even Duke has a lot of one and dones, but not for Duke either, because no one's been more successful at this than Calipari, and that has to matter. That has to matter.
Like sending guys to the NBA.
Hell yes, that matters. It matters. It matters as much as the winning does. It matters because those are wins, bro. Those are sending a kid to the NBA where he gets a second and third contract. I'm flexing that all day. That is incredible. That's incredible. That's life changing.
You're right.
In that regard, yeah. If I'm Cal, I'm promoting that too because it's like, yo, you come play for me. I have the formula. I'm going to make sure that you're not you, but generations after you are set. Come play for me.
Right.
That's the thing, though. Nobody's debating that. Greg's saying it like that's something that I'm like, no, I want these kids to stay here now. I don't want them to succeed. I want them to win in college. Like, I don't care about.
But you wanted him gone.
Huh?
But you wanted him gone, though.
I mean, I didn't want him gone. I wanted him to change his philosophies, though. And he wasn't going.
You weren't mad he was gone, though. You weren't mad he dipped.
Bro, doing the same thing over and over again is insanity. And losing, like we've been losing, is crazy. At Kentucky, it's crazy. If the Yankees were to, if the Yankees were to do the same thing, the manager would be fired. There's an expectation. There's always been an expectation at these places.
I understand that. How do you hold this past year against Cal? He recruits DJ Wagner. DJ Wagner is, got the pedigree and all. Son of DeJuan Wagner, and then Milt Wagner and all this stuff. He goes to Kentucky. He plays like dog, does not play well. We're in a weird era now. We're like, we don't hold players accountable anymore. I know he's a kid. We don't hold players accountable anymore. We're holding the coach accountable. Is it possible that these top flight recruits aren't living up to their billing because there's too much pressure? It's also that part too. It doesn't change the Coach Calipari's culpability and everything and the environment he created and why they haven't won multiple championships. I get that, but I'm saying it's a rarity to do so anyways. If you're firing someone because they haven't won multiple championships in 17 years, but they've been to like 6 Elite Eights or whatever the hell, and a Final Four appearance, multiple Final Four appearances, what are we really doing? Like, that's not good enough anymore for people? Damn. That's a tough one.
Arkansas about to be jumping. I know that. Arkansas about to be jumping, and I look forward to seeing on Hip Hop DX or Shade Room or somewhere where Drake drops a bar with Arkansas in it. Somebody about to drop a bar with Arkansas in their song. Yeah, the fact that
bro, the Colorado,
we're gonna transition. It's wild. It's wild. This year, I remember the last 2 years. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mal. Right, the last 2 or 3 years, Coach Cal has had practice at Drake's house.
Come on.
Like that's wild different. He has had practice at Drake's house, which in this era, one of the most popular rappers right now, artists is Aubrey Drake Graham. That's
all those practices got us, a lot.
That's crazy. Hey, that's crazy. Miles acting like that. I don't know why you acting like that, Miles. I'm gonna be keeping a stack.
Acting like what though? Like
how many chips you seen in your life?
I hear your argument about what Cal has brought to Kentucky. I'm not
just that though. The rarity of a national championship. How rare is it? It's rare to win a major championship in sports at a high level. It's rare. It's hard to go win an AAU tournament, bro. It ain't easy. If I had that mentality, I would be asked out. I'll tell you that right now.
But isn't winning what separates the the good from the great at the end of the day?
Yeah, it's relative, but yes, it's relative though. It's not always that black and white. Life ain't black and white. I tell people this all the time. Life is not black and white. If it was black and white, it'd be a rough existence for a lot of us guys. I'll tell you that right now. It's not that. It's not. He is a Hall of Fame coach. You just don't follow him up with some guy like named Mark Pope who's coaching Mormons and all this shit. Like, what are we? I'm sorry. I'm just irritated. Like, yo, what are we doing? What are we doing?